Om Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhit Tamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Sri Saraswatyai Namaha Om Sri Guru Paramparaya Namaha Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Today I have to speak a lot. And today's class is really very important. Every day's class is very important. But with due permission of you, I will discuss some psychology, some other things and the basic concepts of Vedanta. Because for a long time, our revered Ilama is poking me, take Gita, Gita, Gita. You know, Gita, if you can read lightly, it's a very light text, translation and everything else. But truly speaking, I don't want to take Gita in that way. Gita is a very higher text. And as a student of Vedanta, what I have heard throughout the years from my acharyas, I just want to go into deep about Gita. And for that, we need to clear our concept about Vedanta. That is why I chose this text, Tattva Bodha. So let's start. The Vedantic scholars have discussed every aspect of life and afterlife in detail. Their thoroughness is worth nothing. And sometimes it says some philosophies. But the main philosophies or philosophers says, or world psychology, the world scientists, they say it is noticing. The Advaitic scholars who were persons of experience have left no place for confusion. Thus, in their explanation of the practical reality or vyavaharika satta, transactional reality, there are minute details of all the constituents of the subtle body, how they are formed, who governs them, and so on. In last few classes, we discussed about our gross body, and we found that gross body is inert. So there is life factors by which all those organs in this body is functioning. We discussed in details about our subtle body. Today we will discuss how subtle body functions, and you will be amazed. The Western philosophy, Western scientists could not reach that point even in modern age also. Now they are slowly accepting our Vedic system. How thoughtful our Vedic sages were, how much deeply they have thought about our internal world. The thing I'm going to discuss, you will find. The thing is, so to go back to the title, that organs of knowledge, if it is our title of this class, the aspirant comes our life and strive to purify his mind. He thus becomes a mumukshu, longing desirer for, intense desirer for liberation, or mumukshu. This seeker after liberation should first of all know what is actuality, or what he actually is. Secondly, it is clear to him what the cosmos is. Thirdly, what the truth is. Especially for today's class, I am telling, either you can take your notebook and you can note something, or you please listen with the full attention and please repeatedly listen this class. If you go further studies of Advait philosophy, this book or this discussion initially took up about all those things. It discussed the physical body. It has now begun discussing the subtle body. Having introduced the subtle body in the previous discussions, its constituents are considered one by one now. The first set is the sense organs. Srotram chak tvak chakshuhu rashanagranam iti. Srotram tvak chakshuhu rasana घ्राणम इति पंच ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि wonderful. See, srotram tvak chakshuhu rasana घ्राणम iti pancha jnanendriyani. Who is having a little bit of Sanskrit knowledge, how easy it is. Then Shrotrasya dig devata tvacho vayuhu chakshusha surya rasanaya varunaha घ्राणस्य अश्विनौ iti jnanendriya devataha. I hope most of you are attending Sanskrit class. So already sixth case has been discussed in 2-3 classes, which is belong to something else, and we use sya in akaranta punglinga. So, like Srotraha is akaranta punglinga. Srotraha is akaranta punglinga. So, Srotrasya of Sotra. I will explain in English. Tvacho, Tvachaha is also sixth case. The noun stem is Tvach, Tvak. Tvak is the noun stem. Chakshushaha is Chakshu is the main noun stem. Rasana like Rama, Akaranta, Strilinga, and its sixth case is Rasanaya. Granaha is Akaranta Punglinga. For that, Granasya. Okay. So, this is the another part of the sloka is there, verse is there. Srotrasya Vishaya Sabda Grahanam. Srotrasya Vishaya Sabda Grahanam. Tvacho Vishaya Sparsha Grahanam. Tvacho Vishaya Sparsha Grahanam. Chakshusho Vishaya Rupa Grahanam. Rasanaya Vishaya Rasagrahanam. Granasya Vishayo Gandhagrahanam. So, we will come to the translation portion. That how it starts. Srotram is ears. Tvak is skin. Chakshuhu is eyes. Rasana, tongue. Granam, nose. These five are Pancha Jnanendriyani, are the five sense organs. Among them, Srotrasya of the ear, Digdevata. Here, Devata is presiding deity. So, the presiding deity, why the deity concept has come, I will come. Is space, Tvachaha, the presiding deity of the skin is Vayuhu, air. Chakshushaha of the eyes, the presiding deity is Suryaha, the sun god. Rasanayaha of the tongue, the presiding deity is Varunaha, the water. Granasya of the nose, the presiding deity is Ashvinau, the two Ashwini Kumar brother who are also known as the doctors of the gods and goddesses. So, iti jnanendriya devataha are the presiding deities of the sense organs. Srotrasya Vishayaha of the ear, Srotrasya Vishayaha, field of experience is Shabdagrahanam, receiving sound. Tvachaha. Tvak is the verbal noun stem of the skin. Tvachaha. Vishayaha, field of experience, is sparsha grahanam, receiving touch. Chakshushaha, of the eyes. Vishayaha, the field of experience, is rupa grahanam, cognition of form. Rasanayaha, of the tongue. Vishayaha, field of experience, is rasagrahanam, cognition of taste. Granasya, of the nose. Vishayaha, field of experience. Gandhagrahanam is cognition of the smell. Iti, thus. So, if I explain it togetherly, the 5 organs of perceptions are the ears, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose. The presiding deities of the organs of perceptions are space of the ears, ear of the skin, the sun of the eyes, water of the tongue, and 2 Ashwini Kumaras of the nose. The field of experience for the organs of perception are cognition of sound for the ear, cognition of touch for the skin, cognition of form for the eyes, cognition of taste for the tongue, and cognition of smell for the nose. The verse looks very innocent and very simple. And I can stop here itself and go on in next verse. But I want that you should learn the Vedantic concept, the Vedantic science, how eternal it is, how it functions. Jnanendriya, or the organs of knowledge, Jnanendriyani, because Indriyam is the Napumsakalinga, neuter gender, like phalam, phalam phale phalani, Jnanendriyam, Jnanendriye, Jnanendriyani. Lot of Jnanendriya or organs of knowledge is there, that is why plural. Number. Vachana. You learn in the Sanskrit class. So organs of knowledge, it may appear a bit surprising that Vedantins, who are so rational, should become a bit emotional at times and say that there are gods ruling over our sense organs. But this is the traditional view which these Vedantins have adopted. Vedanta is nothing but the Vedas. And the Vedas have numerous gods and goddesses, which are expressions of that one supreme being. These gods and goddesses are like officers looking after different quarters. In Brahma Sutra, 1.3 Prathama Pada, Tritiya Adhyaya, verse number 25 to 33, it has been discussed. There is a discussion about the gods. The discussion is whether the gods too can attain knowledge. Vadarayana, Vyasadev, the author of Brahma Sutra, upholds the view that the gods can indeed attain knowledge, though other schools oppose this. So there are gods and they have their responsibilities. There could be some scientific basis in saying, for instance, that the sun rules over the eyes, etc. Now the question, who knows? The thing is, you have to know where it is told about the sun god. It is not that physical sun. When it is telling the air god, it is not the physical air. We are talking about the subtle aspect of the thing. Jnana means knowledge, indriyani, the sense organs. There are 5 sense organs which link us to the outer world. The external world, as we saw earlier, is made up of the 5 basic elements. The internal world, our subtle body, is made for the 5 elements. So it is all the play of the 5 elements alone. Distilling things further, it is all the play of nature or prakriti alone. Suppose there was no contact with the outer world at all, what would happen? We would have remained sealed within our bodies like a capsule. This is what is happening in the case of lower types of bodies. The tree, for instance, it is unable to express itself. Similarly, we would have remained where we are and would neither evolve to attain knowledge nor evolve to enjoy the world. We would be like the dead body inside a coffin. In order to attain liberation, we should know we are bound and that we can attain liberation by study and meditation. If there were no sense organs to keep us in touch with the outer world, we would be like stalks and stones with darkness hidden in darkness, not knowing that we are in ignorance at all. Consider a deaf, mute, and blind person who is insensitive to touch and cannot distinguish smell. All the doors of his perceptions are closed. The first doubt is, Are there no sense organs in these persons? In this person? Oh yes, they are there. The outer apertures in the physical body are closed. That is all. When this person takes a new body, the latent sense organs begin to function if the apertures are there. The second doubt regarding such a person is, how is he or her to know that there is bondage and that liberation is possible? How can this person contact a teacher and acquire knowledge? How can this person meditate and on what? Therefore, just as the physical body is imperative to knowing the truth, the physical world too is imperative, and our contact with the physical world too is necessary. So the Kathopanishad says that the Lord himself created the senses as outgoing. The sense organs go out and bring back knowledge of the external world. It is only after the sense organs reveal the external world that our organs of actions begin to act. So, the sense organs are vital. Now, what is the process of knowing? It's the main topic today I have taken. The thing is, how do we know how do sense organ functions? According to yoga philosophy introduced by sage Patanjali, and according to Vedanta, all knowledge, everything we know is born of the modification of mind. Please keep it note. That mental modification is called vritti. So what about our knowledge is nothing but the vritti jnanam, the modification of mind. When we see something, hear something, or think of something, the mind becomes that thing seen, thought, or heard of for the moment. And this becoming is called the modification or vritti, modification of mind. All knowledge we get either internal through memory or dream, or external through experiences, is nothing but vritti jnanam, the knowledge out of mental modification. Of all the ways of knowing, to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch are the best and direct means of perception. Then direct means of perception is called pratyaksha. Then there is the inference or anumana. We infer something else, but it is based on the direct perception. The sound comes and you understand that someone has started the car. You read from the sacred books and learn the truth about God. This is another sort of perception. Thus, there are 6 ways of knowing according to Indian thought, especially the school of Advaita. For all these, however, the sense organs are needed. Whatever we know must be known by the mind's going out and taking the form of that object and returning back to the brain center. Suppose we are seeing a cow, the mind takes the form of a cow. If I take our Pujya Gurudev, our mind goes out in physical condition, I'm telling, and it takes the form of Gurudev and it comes to the brain center. In Sanskrit, it is called Antahkarana. Antahkarana means inner organ. Antah means inner. Karana, yesterday's last class I have discussed. What does it mean by Karana? Karana here means organs or instrument also we tell. The mind, the intellect, the ego, and the memory. The mind is divided into 4 parts or antahkarana. What are they? Again, I'm repeating. The mind, the intellect, the ego, and the memory, or mana, buddhi, ahankara, and chitta are inner organs, while the life forces, organs of knowledge and organs of actions, are external organs. External organs like hand, legs, those are bahya karana or external organs. So we got antahkarana and bahya karana. The mind is generally confused. Okay? The mind is generally confused. It can't say what is what clearly. Sankalpa vikalpatmaka manaha. Mind is always in a dicey situation. Should I do that or not? Do I do that or not? Should I say that or not? Always the mind's condition is like that. It cannot say what is what clearly. It refers the thing to the intellect or buddhi. Nishchayatmika buddhi. The intellect is the decisive factor of the antahkarana or inner organs. Before saying that something that was seen is a tree, for instance. Okay. So it will refer to the storehouse of memory called chitta. This memory is not only one's own memory of millions of past lives, but also the collective memory of the sum total of souls. The answer comes from here that the thing seen was the tree, thus there is knowledge. Yet it is not complete. The ego should, the ahankara should identify itself with the thing seen. This is complete knowledge. There is a school of Advaita which speaks of two types of ignorance. That which envelops and projects everything, envelops and projects everything is Mula Vidya. Please note it. So, one is cover, so this is Maya Shakti. First, envelope something is avaranam and project something is vikshepa. And mainly project something what is not actually. That is why it is called Mula Avidya. First is covers with the ignorance and it reflects or projects something what is not actually, really. That is called Mula Avidya. And the other which envelops the created thing until our mental modification goes out and destroys it to know it is called Tula Avidya. Tula Avidya. So we learned today two terminologies, four terminologies: Antakarana, Bahikarana, Mula Avidya and Tula Avidya. So that Tula Avidya portion has not been taken seriously by many. Okay. Now such a process of knowing, mind going out, taking the form of the object, intellect deciphering the object, has been going on endlessly. Every flash of a millisecond or less in our system, suppose we think we are seeing, testing something and listening simultaneously. We are wrong. Previously, people used to think that even the psychologists, Western psychologists used to think in that way. Now modern science has told it is wrong, and our Vedic sages still told it always wrong. We are wrong in this matter. All this is happening one after another, one after another, one after another, in extremely quick succession. This is the way we get knowledge, and this is the function of senses. Yet, in spite of all that, the sense organs can show us they are terribly limited. In this factor, Swami Vivekananda said very important thing. He told, the gist, but a few quickly discovered that although they are struggling for infinite or infinite power, it is not through the senses that it can be reached. They find out very soon that that infinite pleasure is not to be got through the senses, or in other words, the senses are too limited and the body is too limited to express the infinite. To manifest the infinite through the finite is impossible. And sooner or later, man learns to give up the attempt to express the infinite through the finite. This giving up, this renunciation of the attempt is the background of ethics. Renunciation is the very basis upon which ethics stands. There never was an ethical code preached which had not renunciation for its basis. In Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 2, page number 62, Swamiji has discussed it. And even in this second volume, page number 66, Swami Vivekananda again told that according to the Vedanta philosophy, man consists of three substances, so to say. The outermost is the body, the gross form of man, in which are the instruments of sensation, such as the eyes, nose, ears, and so forth. This eye is not the organ of vision. It is only the instrument. Behind that is the organ. So the ears are not the organs of hearing. They are the instrument. And behind them is the organ, or what in modern physiology is called the center. The organs are called indriyas or indriya in Sanskrit. If the center which governs the eyes be destroyed, the eyes will not see. So with all our senses, the organs again cannot sense anything by themselves until there be something else attached to them. That something is the mind. Many times you have observed that you were deeply engaged in a certain thought and the clocks struck and you did not hear it. Why? The ear was there, vibrations entered it and were carried into the brain, yet you did not hear, because the mind was not joined to the organ. The impressions of external objects are carried to the organs. And when the mind is attached to them, It takes the impressions and gives them, as it were, a coloring which is called egoism or I. Take the case of a mosquito biting. Suppose a mosquito is biting me on the finger when I'm engaged in some work. I do not feel it because my mind is joined to something else. Later, when my mind is joined to the impression conveyed to the indriyas or sense organs, a reaction comes. With this reaction, I become conscious of the mosquito. So even the mind joined itself to the organs is not sufficient. There must come the reaction in the form of will. This faculty from which the reaction comes the faculty of knowledge or intellect is called buddhi. First, there must be the external instrument. Next, the organ. Next, the mind must join itself to the organ. Then, must come the reaction of the intellect. And when all these things are complete, there immediately flashes the idea. I am the external object, and there is a perception, a concept that is called knowledge. When I used to take the morning class physically about Kathopanishad, Pramana Vichara topic came, and I told and I promised my students that I will take up that topic. This is very, very important and interesting. The 6 ways of knowing according to Indian philosophy. But I don't want to go into that today because it's a big topic and I want to enter into that. I know you will like. Shad Pramana, we will come. The The 5 organs of perceptions have the capacity to hear, located in the ears, what we just recapitulating. Feel, located in the skin. See, located in the eyes. Taste, located in the tongue. And smell, located in the nose. Through these, we perceive the entire world of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, respectively. Each sense organ perceives only its own particular sense objects. There is no admixture of duties. That is the beauty. The ears cannot see, nor the nose tastes. None, suppose 1/5 of the world of perception is cut off. If one of them fails to function, just imagine. For example, There is no perception of form and color for the visually challenged. When one of the senses is weak or not functioning, the others become sharper. The visually challenged, therefore, have keen ears. Knowledge gained through the senses is called direct perceptions, pratyaksha jnanam. Most of our knowledge is by the direct perception or based on it. Based on what we perceive, we respond. If the perception is faulty, our response will be improper. A deaf person cannot easily articulate words, as he has never heard sounds. Hence, the senses play a very important role in our life. Every department in an organization has a departmental head who is responsible for managing and controlling the functioning of the department. Even an automatic machine needs a person to maintain it regularly, to switch it on or off, and to repair it when it needed. Hence, without a sensual or sentient entity, the inert cannot function. In the Hindu scriptures or Indian scriptures, these sentient beings that control the functioning of the various functions of the universe are said to be 33 crores in number and are called Devatas or presiding deities. It is to be clearly understood that Hindus believe in one God or Ishvara alone. But they accept that every functional head draws his power, his strength, and knowledge from the one omnipotent God. Dig Devata heads the faculty of hearing. As the sound travels in the medium of space, Vayu, the air controls touch. Surya or sun god is the source of all light on the earth, and seeing is possible only in the presence of light. Hence, the sun is the deity of sight. A dry tongue has no taste. When we hear of something tasty, our mouth waters. Varuna or water is the deity of taste. The two Ashwini Kumaras guide the functioning of smell. The conditions of the senses are known to me, hence I am different from them and the objects they perceive. I think I could clear today's topic. Tomorrow there will be next verse, but before that I will take 6 pramanas pray to God by the grace of Lord and Gurudev as we can learn together. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Swamiji, please explain what is Tula Vidya.
Okay. You know, first one is Moola Avidya, which is universal for all. That Maya Shakti has covered the entire universe. That is Avarana, and it projects something different which is not real. That is called Vikshepa, and it is for everything else, everyone else. It is true. That is called Moola Avidya. Tula Avidya is personal. The same thing, it is not true that everyone is perceiving in the same way. The same word is everything is not perceived by the same in the same way for the all the persons. That is called Tula Avidya. Clear?
Thank you.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. By the way, I just want to ask you one thing. That do you like this sort of detailed study?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Brahmachari ji, Hari Om. Hari Om.
Yes, yes, I can listen.
या मैं सोचती हूँ कि ये सब्जेक्ट बहुत सीरियस है ना, थोड़ा स्लो जाइए, थोड़ा ना सबको समझने में थोड़ा रिपीट करिए, थोड़ा एक सब्जेक्ट को लेकर थोड़ा रिपीट करके देन यू गो अहेड टू द अनदर वन. थोड़ा ओवरलैप हो जाता है, ऐसा मेरे को लगता है.
You need repetition of the same.
You see, for not for me, but मेरे को लगता है तब new people will really be confused, क्योंकि this is very subtle thing. एक बार माइंड में सेट हो जाए ना, then you go to another one.
Yes,
little bit.
Because if I start Gita, because I will take Gita with Shankar Bhashya, not the translation, okay?
No, whatever, but this should be very clear first of all.
That is why I am creating the base of Advaita. Advaita philosophy is so deeper and so interesting. Just see how we know. It's a...
You are enthused to show it, but others should grasp it, no? So go little slow. So I mean, एक बार clear हो जाना चाहिए कि हाँ, this is complete. This is complete. This is complete.
Tomorrow.
This is my thinking. My thinking.
No. I think. See, if one person can't understand among the whole class, it is my responsibility to make her understand first. Then go ahead. So I will. And because next day, 6 Pramana. You used to attend all the morning classes. All the students told Swamiji, we don't know what is 6 Pramanas. Nobody took. I told, yes, I will take. Please let the time comes when I will start it, the basis of Vedanta. So tomorrow I will discuss about the 6 Pramana. It is very important. And today's class, I will gist it. Surely.
Okay.
Never forget to come at 11 o'clock. Today, 11 o'clock, Sanskrit grammar is there. Okay, yes. Spoken Sanskrit.
Okay.
Hari Om Tat Sat.